Welcome everybody to Sin City Living. My name is Jason and I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. We have a ton of content for you guys coming out every single week, every single day generally. Occasionally miss a day like I did during the rodeo that is still ongoing right now. I hope all of our patrons out there are appreciating the patron-only exclusive videos we're putting out with the dice class, putting one out every couple of weeks. And if you're curious about that, go ahead and check the description down below. Once I get this whole live stream thing figured out, I'm probably going to do a live stream on the patron site as well. One on the regular site, one on the patron site. I do have the new computer for it. Theoretically, I have everything ready. I'm just so busy currently with this rodeo. And one of our fans asked a question a little while back about ways to tip us, to show appreciation to us without having to sign up as one of our patrons. And at the time we did not have any way of doing it, but I have managed now to get us signed up with a site called Buy Me a Coffee. As I'm sure some of you guys have noticed from some of our videos, Louie and I are both pretty heavy coffee drinkers. So if you're curious about that as well, go ahead and check down below in the description as well. We would definitely appreciate any cups of coffee you're willing to pick up for us. And don't forget to email us with any strategies, questions, suggestions, anything at all. We love shooting those videos for you guys. I actually haven't gotten a new email in about 2 weeks. And also, don't forget, anybody that may be interested in one of the small Sin City Living neons that we have, just email us that as well, sincitylivingLV@gmail.com. Otherwise, going to go and get into today's episode. Welcome back to Sin City Living. For today's crap strategy, I want to go over something that I call the loadout, or just the front load, the number load, however you want to call it. It's based off of, regardless of whatever point is marked, it's based off of going across, include the point. Like many of the crap strategies that we cover, we don't worry about a pass line bet at all. Instead, we place the point. The reason we like to place the point is it gives us more control, especially over a longer roll. So with this strategy, what we're doing is we're picking a number or we're picking an area, and we're going to load that area up. We're going to pull back every so often. We'll pull a little bit of money back. But for the most part, we're picking one area, be it the 6 and 8 or the inside or even the outside, and we're just going to load it up. Anything that hits, we're going to stack it up in that particular area that we're going for, or that particular number that we're going for. What we're trying to do is we're trying to use all of these numbers to load up one particular point for one big hit. This is an interesting strategy in that it's not based on catching that 15, 30, 45, 60 hand roll, those rolls that go for 15, 20, 45 minutes. Those are the rolls that, with some of the other strategies we've gone over, you can make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. This one is more based around kind of those mid rolls and a little bit of luck, but then again, every strategy is based off of a little bit of luck. If you go straight by the numbers, no strategy can actually win. So you're hoping to catch that little bit of luck. But what this one is doing is it's trying to catch, again, one number for one good hit. When I play the strategy, and I play this one fairly rarely, it's a fun strategy to play though, so I might play this one if I have a smaller buy-in, just a couple of $100, and I'm on a $5 table or a $10 table. And I will pick, for me, I will pick one number. Some people will pick a zone, the 6 and 8, or the 5 and 9, or the 4 and 10. I prefer to pick just one number. I will pick one number, and every time that particular number rolls, I'm going to same bet. I'm going to collect whatever I'm being paid. But if any other number rolls, I'm just going to stack up on my number. So for this one, let's pick the 9. So let's say I'm going to target the 9 for this. So every time something rolls, and I'm actually going to use some dice here, well, the 9 rolls. So since I picked the 9, 5 is going to pay $7, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and collect it. Now a 5 rolls. So 5 pays 7. And on this one, I'm going to say stack it up on the 9. Now I have a 6 roll. 6 pays 7. I'm going to throw in, as the player, I might throw in $3 so I can collect 10. And I'm going to say the same thing. Stack it up on the 9. 5 rolls again. 5 pays 7. Guess what? Stack it up on the 9. The 9 now looks like 25. We have a 9 that rolls. Now I'm going to say same bet. Me personally, I might actually put this $10 on the 9, but same bet. I collect my 35, and I keep going. 11 rolls. Now another thing with this particular strategy, some people will do a field bet. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it depends. I might do it. So an 8. 8 rolls. 6 pays 7. Now, once I start getting into the green, what I may do is I may start pressing some of these individually just so I can have more to stack up onto the 9. So in this case, I might throw in 5 and say, go ahead and press my 6 and 8. That way now the 6 and 8 are going to give me a decent amount of chips to load up. So now the 6 rolls. I'm going to throw in $1 and get paid 15 for 1 because 12 pays 14. And guess what? I'm going to stack it up. And look, the 9 rolls. 40 pays 56. And I'm going to say same bet, because the 9 is the number that I have targeted. So 5 rolls. 5 pays 7. Now, I actually have some 1s that I've won, so I'm going to throw those in so that I can collect all red. Now I want to press up the 5, and I'll put the rest on the 9. A 4 rolls. So it'd be a winner 4. Now the 4 pays $9. And again, I'm probably going to go ahead and try and get this up to a couple of units. So now this would come off. Now these would be off. These numbers would be off. We would have a 10 roll. Now everything is working again. And now the 4 rolls. So this is going to pay, depending on where you're at, it's either going to pay 18 or 19. I'm going to say it pays 18. So we'll throw $2 in for 20. Guess what? We're stacking it all up on the 9. Because again, the 9 is the only number that I really want to collect anything off of. 10 pays 14. I'm going to throw in $1, get my 15, and I'm going to stack it up. Nothing happens. Now, oftentimes when I get to this point, instead of an $80 9, I am personally probably going to do a $75 9, and this is where I might start adding some minor stuff to some of these other numbers. So we'll go ahead and let the 5 go to 15. Okay, and the 7 rolls. So 7 out. Started with 32 across. We have $91. Let's try this again. But we'll pick a different number. We'll pick a slightly easier one. Or not easier, but a slightly more common one. So we want to have a point marked. The 9 is marked. Interesting number to have marked. And this time I'm going to pretend I'm on a $10 table. So we're going to go ahead and do 54 across. Now this time I'm going to pick the 8. I like the 8. My theoretical lucky number. So 4 rolls. That's going to pay $18. So that's going to pay 18. I'm going to tell them to stack it all up on the 8. We are already up to a $30 8. And look, the 8 rolls. I'm going to say same bet. Collect my 35. 12, nothing, unless I happen to have in the field, in which case I would use it to stack up. So now, oh, I'm sorry. I would have gone 64 across. I got ahead of myself. Unless I had a pass line bet, I would have done 64 across. So we have the winner 9 that comes up. The winner 9, that would pay $14. Need to restock my 1s here. My aces. That's going to pay $14. I'm going to take the 8 to 42. Now once the 8 hits 60 is where I'm likely to start pressing some of these others up a couple units each. We have a 9 go again. So 10. Again, this pays 18. And what did I say we're going to look for? We're going to try and go to 60. So now the 8 is at $60. This is, again, I just want one 8 to hit. So a 6 rolls. 12 is going to pay 14. We're going to go ahead and press that one up so the next time it pays, it's going to pay something nice. We have an 11, so unless I'm in the field with some money to stack up, and now the 6 rolls. what I would probably do here, just for ease, I want to try and get to the greens, is I'm going to take this to 30. And then I'm likely to go to 72 over here. And we'll collect. And 7 out. So unfortunately I lost. Now I started with 64 across. I said 54, but I wasn't including the points. I started with 64 across. 49 bucks. So I lost $15 on that. But look at this. All I needed was to hit the 8 one more time and I'd have pulled down $84. 84 bucks on the same bet, plus what I already won. It's an interesting strategy. I'm not saying this is going to be a big money strategy. This is going to win huge amounts of money. This is a fun strategy. You're rooting for one particular point. And you can play around with it like I do. Once I hit a certain point, like the $60 mark on a $10 table, the $30 mark on a $5 table, where I start pressing the other ones up once so that they can start adding more as I funnel them into the 8 or whatever other number I might choose. And now I'm rooting for, I'm rooting for the 8. I'm rooting for the 8. I want that 8 to hit. And what some people will do as well is, as they're collecting, they start using all that to place whatever the point is. And I have 2 points that you're rooting for. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of on the fence on that one. With this particular strategy, it's kind of a grinder strategy where you're looking for a couple decent size hits and you're looking to collect here and there so that you can stay in the game longer. This is more of a strategy for if you're just hanging out having fun. You're having a good time. You want to stay on the tables, have some fun, be able to root for some numbers and have a good time. And with this strategy, you can play around. There's nothing wrong with throwing in the occasional field bet or even adding the field to your strategy. And there's also nothing wrong with maybe doing some hard ways or every so often you're just feeling it. So let's go for a 3-way crap or a horn bet or something along those lines. But for the most part, you're just looking for that one number. If I were to start placing the point, which we already have up here anyway, I would likely do it with maybe half of what I'm collecting. So I'm still collecting enough that I should be able to get a few more rolls in here and there. So let's try it again. Let's try it with a different number. One of the more fun ones, when it hits, I shouldn't say fun, one of the more profitable ones when it hits, but not quite as fun because it doesn't hit as often. Let's go ahead and set a point. We'll set the 9. So now I'm going to do my 64 across, including the point. I'm going to designate the 10. We're going to funnel everything we get into the 10. Well, or we're just going to roll a 10 right away and we're going to do the same bet. Now, if I were to go off that strategy I was saying earlier, we'll go ahead and add 5 to our place bet over here. It's kind of silly because we're already up here. You could also do this where you only do 54 across, and then you just start adding onto the place bet over there. In fact, let's go ahead and set that up that way. So now we're placing it up that way. Okay, so 6 rolls. That is going to pay $14. 12 pays 14. And we press the 10. 7 out rolls. Fortunately, we lose. That's the problem with any strategy. All dice strategies are weak against the 7 outs that come within the first 3 or 4 rolls, which statistically is going to happen a lot. 1 in 6 times those dice roll, it's going to be a 7. So you have 1 in 6 times of it occurring on the first roll, 1 in 6 times on the second roll, 1 in 6 times on the third roll. So odds are pretty good that a 7 is going to come out pretty early, but all strategies are based on the 7 not coming out. Sure, there's a few strategies such as the do-we-don't that we will cover, or the strategies where you have a don't come and then place all the rest of them. But all strategies are weak against the randomness of the dice. This one is just, to me, an enjoyable one if I wanted to sit around and play for a while. And there's definitely a chance of hitting something good. So let's try this again. Let's do 54 across. And we'll place the point. And a 5 rolls. So we're going to do the 10 again. Pays 14. We're going to stack up the 10 and we'll collect right there. And a 6. Pays 14. We're going to throw in $1 to get 15. We're going to stack up the 10. Which is now a buy. 3 rolls, nothing happens unless I happen to be in the field. Ooh, another 6. It's going to pay 14. We're going to throw in another $1. It's going to get 15. We're going to add it to our stack. And now this is the point where we want that 10 to hit, and we're likely to push some of these, to press some of these other numbers up a little bit higher if they roll. So the 10 rolls. There we go. So that has a $2 vig. It has a $2 vig, but we get paid $100. We're going to do it this way. We're going to pay it with green, so that after it pays, we go ahead and change how we're placing the point. A lot of people like to do this where they put some of their winnings on a place in the point, so they can also they can root for the winner that the rest of the table is rooting for. Gets you a little more buy-in into the game. And 7 out. So think of this: if we had not been placing the point, we'd have collected over $100, over $100 on a 64 cross bet. So we would have not won huge money. We really wouldn't have won all that much money to begin with, but it would have gotten us another roll, maybe 2 more rolls out of that. Out of our winnings. So again, this is an interesting strategy just to have some fun, because you're really rooting for that 10. And when you get these stacked up, I've actually seen someone play a method similar to this where we got the 10 all the way up to, I want to say, $135 within just a few minutes, because all the rest of the numbers were rolling. And when that happens, it's fun. That's when you see players cheering and screaming and yelling, because they got a bunch of mini bets and they got one bet that is just the one that they want to hit. It makes the game more fun. You've got something you really bought in for, rooting for. I like placing the point as well, because you can now root for the same things all the rest of the table is rooting for, and it gets you a little bit more camaraderie with everybody else. But that's my stack everything on one number method, the funnel method, the stack method, whatever you want to call it. I've seen it called a number of things, the tower method. Although there's a variation on that I've seen as well, where you take everything down and put it on your chosen number after a certain point. But there you go. That's a fun method. It's a fun strategy, and one that you can use all the time. Thank you for watching YouTube. Be sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and we will catch you later. So, as I promised, I wanted to go over very briefly our upcoming attempts at a third test live stream. So what's happened so far? The first test live stream just flat didn't work. The problem that I had was was an equipment problem. I had an equipment problem in that the equipment that I was using to translate the camera into streamable video to the computer required a better USB port than the computer I was using at the time. So that one just flat failed because it would not translate into the computer. The computer would not pick it up, would not read it, so I wasn't able to live stream it. So then, as I was looking through, because I'm a little bit of a tech head, as I was looking through all of my other stuff, because I do have 4 laptops here and 3 computers, I did find one that actually did have the newer style USB port. Unfortunately, it was actually my oldest laptop, but I figured, what the heck, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? And this time around, when I fired everything up, the video was actually translating onto the computer, so things were looking better. But then when I attempted to live stream, the computer was not powerful enough to be able to translate it and then upload it sufficiently. So it basically just uploaded a blank screen for the live stream. So what I am going to have to do is, and I'm already looking into all of my options, I'm going to upgrade my computer so I can add, what, a 7th, 8th computer to my household. And I'm going to go much, much higher, and I'm going to get a computer that is far more than I need for this, far, far, far more powerful than I need for this. That way, any future upgrades that I may do, the computer will be able to handle it. So unfortunately, this computer is going to cost me about 25% more, about 25% of what I've already laid out in all the equipment for this channel. So it wasn't something I could just instantly buy. I'm probably looking at Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So hopefully I have it within the next couple of weeks, and then I'll do another test live stream and see if I can go from there. So I will definitely do at least one weekly live stream on our Patreon, because they're the ones that are really helping us get this computer. and the other equipment that I'm going to get, because I figure if I'm buying the computer, I might as well buy the most high-end capture cards and things along those lines, get everything as good as possible, and then hopefully eventually get a better microphone for you guys. So yeah, that's where we stand on the live stream. As soon as I have the computer and I do the test, which will be in a few weeks, like I said, got to order it in a week or two, then I have to wait for it to ship. Plus, we have probably the biggest event of the year coming up, the NFR National Finals Rodeo. So I'm basically working 2 weeks straight, as is my wife. So not going to have a whole lot of time. But once we get all that under control, then we'll figure out. There's been some schedule changes to myself, some schedule changes to my wife, and some upcoming schedule changes to my wife as well. So hopefully we can get all the scheduling figured out, so I know when I'll be able to live stream as well. My initial plan of Thursdays at 6 o'clock is already out the window. I'm at work at that point now. So we will get it all figured out, and we will let you guys know, I promise. And otherwise, I hope you guys have found this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.